Ni hao, and welcome back to a Chinese 1940 campaign. It's take two. So the last one I did in 1.6 beta, it got ended prematurely when 1.6 released fully, and my save got nuked. But that's okay. I expected that to happen. The reason it's taken a while to start a new one is the developers have done some things to well, the crew pool isn't too bad here actually, but look how little it's growing per turn. Only plus 57 per month. And also the ammunition situation is the same as it was in beta. I was hoping they would reverse that, but since 1.5 ammunition has been halved. So that's why in the 1.6 beta campaign I kept running out of ammunition. At first I couldn't understand why, because well, it typically happens if I have a fleet that's being engaged in battle multiple months in a row. Eventually it's going to run out. But in the 1.6 beta Chinese campaign I kept running out of ammo with even fresh fleets. And the reason was they had cut ammunition in half since 1.5. So now, even with increased ammunition on your ships, you're going to have less ammo than you did in 1.5 with reduced ammunition. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, we're doing this in vanilla, no mods, because I just want to see how the vanilla campaign experience is in the game currently. Next campaign I do will definitely be using the Dreadnought Improvement Project modification by Brother Monroe. So, but anyway, that said, let's start designing our ships. Let's build for China. I think I'm gonna use that episode title again. Now this time I know that I don't have that much money as China in 1940, and I do want to have two decent battle fleets so I can rotate them in and out of combat. So if one is in battle 1 month, I can send it to port for repair and resupply, and send out the other battle fleet, instead of having to fight with the ships that are already start low on ammo. And to do that, I need to start with cheap ships from the get-go. So we're building the advanced small battleship from the start. Let's see, that's how fast can I make them? Well, they don't have a lot of resistance. Oh, the resistance isn't too bad. Hull form is kind of bad, so I don't think I can make them too fast. Max optimal speed is only 22 knots. That is terrible. That is quite terrible. Let's go with standard quarters, and instead just take other measures to hopefully not take too much crew damage. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it the Temu class battleship, and make it kind of a copy of the one I made for the previous campaign that never got to see combat before the campaign ended. So, like, these towers are really heavy compared to those. So here we got less than 1,000 tons. And remember, things like radar and rangefinder is going to add a percentage base increase of weight to the main tower. So if you start with one that's light, it's not going to add that much weight. So here we got 21 base accuracy, 37 long range accuracy. It's not that big of a difference, really. For double the weight? No, I think we're going with this one. Yeah, the view range isn't quite the same, but 7,300 is not terrible. So what kind of secondary tower should we pick? Tempted again to go with a very light one. That's tiny, tiny, tiny. And here you're actually looking at some pretty big differences. But also pretty big differences in size and weight. So I think that's... So these funnels are also very heavy. I don't think we need... I want to have 2 funnels though, still, for redundancy. So if I lose a funnel, I just... my ship does not turn out to be super slow after that. Engines, and I also want to keep an eye on cost. Diesel 1 or gear turbines, 296 with a maintenance of 3.5 million a month, or 229 with 1.9 million a month. That seems like a much better deal overall. Yeah, I think we're going diesel 1 here. I can even reduce the range because to begin with in the campaign, I'm just not gonna fight globally. I'm just gonna fight Japan to begin with, and by the time where we hopefully beat Japan, I can maybe afford to build something better than the Temu class battleship, and the range is not gonna matter that much. So guns, what we got here: Mark IV, Mark IV. Everything is Mark IV. We're gonna go 15s. 110 ammo per barrel. No, per ammunition type. So that would be 55 per barrel, right? I think we're going 15s. Let's just do some comparisons here. $14.45, $11.60. Let's I want to go with super heavy shells. And tube powder maybe? TNT 4, standard ratio, double cap ballistic. Let's start with that one. That's 51 caliber. 51 caliber. So at 20,000 meters, 1 and 1.2%. 0.8 and 1%. Should I make them longer, maybe? That'll reduce my reload time, but I now know from experience that I'm gonna run out of ammo if there's a very long battle anyway, so I would rather have a higher percentage of the shots I fire actually hit than worry about rate of fire, which is just gonna spend my ammo quicker. So since 1.5 though, the end of 1.5, we had a pretty I didn't like it, where long barrels and high muzzle velocity just meant you didn't hit anything. But that's been reversed, luckily. Now we're looking at 1.2, 1.6, 1.2, 1.4 at 20,000 meters, at 30, 0.4, 0.7, 0.4, 0.7. So the same. Basically, if we're adding radar, is that taken into account here? 0.6, 0.9. 0.6, 0.9. What kind of penetrations are we looking at? 20,000, 18 belt pen. 21 belt pen at 30,000, 18.2 deck penetration. 15.9 deck penetration. I think we're going 15s here. Actually. I think we're going 15s. Either ABXY, 4 turrets, or I might go ABX with 3 triple turrets. Haven't quite decided yet. Let's just build the rest of the ship and then worry about the guns later. I saw there's a lot of armor that I can take off. So let's see. Practical difference between Crep 5 and Modern 1. 140, 130. I think we might go Crep 5 to save some cost. Keep these ships cheap. Let's go Barbette 3 to begin with. Anti-Flood 2 is not that much worse than Anti-Flood 3. So if you need to save on cost and hull weight, it's not a bad idea to go Anti-Flood 2. I want Citadel 4 for the resistance bonus. And increased ammo. Electro-hydro turrets. Okay. So now it's quite expensive looking at this. If I reduce you down to 24 knots, that saves some cost. Not a whole lot. Am I using the cheapest funnels? I am. Good. Alright, let's reduce this armor down a little bit. Not like a massive amount, but I figure the key to operational survivability with these ships is not going to be their armor, it's just going to be that I have many of them, so I can rotate them in and out of you know, the battle space. 18 engine is still pretty good main belt. And the resistance is not terrible. Let's go 20 on the turret face. That's quite hefty, actually. 10.5 on the top is decent. Let's actually reduce this down a little bit more. Let's go 19. Still quite heavily armored. I might reduce this even further to save some weight for secondaries. Will that look terrible? Yes. So we're gonna have to splurge on a bigger barbette. There are some things I will just not compromise on. That looks... yeah, it's not too terrible. It's still kind of bad. Do I really need to go for a big one? To make it not look awful? I guess I do. Okay, we're very close to the displacement limit here. So I think we need to reduce the armor. That is fine. We can drop you down to 18 and 16. Anything else that can be reduced? 18,000 kilometers. Still pretty good. So we got a bit of a 4-weight offset here, so luckily we have room to adjust our things. You know what? I think I will just have to go for one that is basically half the weight. It's gonna look a little bit silly, but that's just life. Because I do want secondaries on this. And I want them to be useful secondaries with some range. That's a bit of a 4-weight offset, but hopefully. And useful secondaries with some range, that typically means something along the lines of 7-inch guns. These are ugly though. They're not too bad, I suppose. Overweight. Okay, we can drop those. Put these here to fix the 4-weight offset. Plus it's center line, so I'll get more of my money's worth out of it. We're at 604 million per ship. That is not bad. That means I can afford to build quite a few of these. I will have some secondaries along the flank here as well, but they're gonna be smaller than 7-inch guns. There we go, 4-weight offset, somewhat reduced. Ooh, these 6-inch turrets are look like they're quite handy. We are now 269 tons overweight. But I think that can be fixed. I want to keep the semi-oil because it makes my ship really cheap. And it also adds a tiny bit of resistance. That's something to keep in mind. Ah, these have a lot of armor. That can probably be reduced a little bit. Can I put more armor on the barbette? No. 6-inch turrets, 7 inches of armor, 3 on the tops. Barbettes are what they are. They're kind of short ranged though. I was hoping they had better range. Okay, we're dropping the 6-inch turrets. And we're adding some barrel length to these. They're only 39 calibers long. 44. Suddenly we have some range and some accuracy. Can we turn them into 45s? Yes, we can. Again, somewhat lowering the rate of fire, but it's not too terrible. No casemates on this. 5-inch turrets, 99 tons for a triple. Just gonna whack on a couple of doubles here, I think. There we go. Not even overweight. These are 5-inch 38s. That is fine. They're gonna take care of really close-in threats. Might place another pier here if I can afford it on my displacement budget. I almost can. Not far off. 5 tons away from being able to field a couple of 5-inch 38s. It shouldn't be too hard to adjust. I think if I just lower the conning tower weight down to 17.5, that is good. Leaves me with a couple of tons left over for refits. Flash fire chance could be better. I only have Barbette 3. Of course, the range and speed, not this thing's strong suit, but only 612 million for a battleship with quite a bit of firepower. That's not too bad. Let's save that design. Now on to battlecruisers. Let's see what we got. The fast battleship, and yeah, as with so many other fast battleships, so-called, in the game, it only has a hull form of 80, so you can't really make it that fast. With a couple of guys in Brother Munro's Discord, went through and looked at all the hulls, and it seems the hull forms they've added to a bunch of these ships are really arbitrary. Hull form of 80, that is just one better than the modernized Dreadnought. That's kind of trash. How about a modern battlecruiser? Also have the large cruiser 2, which is ugly, and the large cruiser 1, which is the same hull, looks like, as the Temu class, but better hull form and not quite the same size. Beijing class battlecruiser. That is fine. Can we make you slightly faster? I think 30 knots should be achievable for this. We're gonna go semi-oil diesel 1 again. And the same lightweight tower. Ooh. We cannot pick the same small lightweight secondary tower though. It's just not available for some reason. So we're gonna pick the smallest one there is. Luckily, 2 of the tiniest funnels will still be enough. So what's gonna be the goal of this ship? I'm guessing like cruiser killer. Yeah, 12-inch is the biggest guns we can put on this. They're all Mark 5s though, which is nice. And we're gonna have 12 of these in 3 quadruple turrets. They're all 59 caliber, base length. At 20,000 meters, 0.6, 0.7, 0.4, 0.6, because these are shorter, but the weight difference is not too bad. So let's set out to make this a very economically viable small battlecruiser slash large cruiser, or whatever you really want to call it. This is definitely not going to be a boat that can stick around in the line of battle and duke it out with actual battleships, though. It's not going to be that kind of battlecruiser. That is for certain. Corrupt 5 again, because it's kind of cheap. What's the base resistance on this? 65. I don't think I'm going to get that much out of going triple hull and maxing out the resistance here. So I'm just not gonna. How about triple base? Does that murder my long range accuracy with too much muzzle velocity? 0.6, 0.1 at 20,000. Point 6.1 at 20,000, so it's the same basically. Point 7.9. 0.7, 1.4. Did I look at 20,000 with the other one? 0.7, 0.4 at 20. Yeah, triple base seems to be better in this case. Coincidence, sonar, RDF, and radar 2. What's the price difference here? It's not really that much, because all the price and weight increase things are percentage increases over the basic main tower, and I picked a really tiny one to begin with, so that is helpful. I'm not gonna worry about inner belts and decks. I'm gonna have some armor though. 12.2. Let's go just simple 12-inch. Not worry too much about deck penetrations. I would like my turrets to not explode. But that is fine. Let's make that an even 60. Yes. Alright. That's not too bad. Since I went with the triple base instead of tube powder, I'm gonna need some better barbette protection. 13.5 is still not very good. But overall, this is a very affordable little battlecruiser. We got a 4-weight offset though. Oh, I didn't know I could put one here. Really gonna rock 16 12-inch guns on the Beijing class battlecruiser? That's just gonna lead to a lot of recoil, isn't it? Isn't it? If I go with triples instead of quads. Go on, show me the stats. There we go. One 1.3, 2.1, 1.2, 1.9 at 20,000. Okay. I think we're going triples here instead of quads. And I'm placing that back there to balance out the ship. We're gonna increase the length a little bit more, make them 55s, just because it's a more well-rounded number than 52. And that makes us quite accurate. So yeah. And it gives me some weight left over for secondaries. We're gonna put 7s on this. It's gonna be a very firepower focused little Chinese Navy. No, I think I'm gonna go with 6s, just because they are much smaller than the 7-inch turrets, and you can actually fit them places. There we go. That's not a huge secondary battery, but it is something. These are 39s, so they will need to be lengthened. That should make them 45s. 21.8 kilometer range with AP, 21.1 with HE. And the long range accuracy is not great, but at least it is present. It's not 0 as it could have easily been in 1.5. So that's an improvement, at least. Our reload time isn't too bad. I could put better reloading equipment on this. It is heavier though and more expensive. It's not that much more expensive. 500 million for one of these. It's honestly a little bit more than I would have wanted it to be. But it's not like completely unaffordable. There we go. 4.2 million a month. 5.1 million a month. So it's a cheaper option to the battleship. And I think I can also, since I adjusted these turrets, actually have displacement left over for the advanced automatic gun reload. So that is nice. And yeah, in 1.6 it seems like all of the hulls are really front heavy, because my funnels, as you can see, are quite centerline. My citadel is even biased towards the rear, with that Y turret being all the way back. And still I've got a 1.1% forweight offset, but 1% doesn't really matter that much, so we're gonna save it. Not entirely sure what I'm gonna use these for. I think if I let them just operate independently, station them in a port, and hope that they get some convoy battles and such, they should be able to take on pretty much anything guarding a convoy. And if the convoy is guarded by a battleship or a bigger battlecruiser, then hopefully they can run away. Although that depends on the speed of those enemy battlecruisers. 30 is not, it's not a super fast battlecruiser, this, but we'll see. The nice thing about really cheap ships is that it doesn't really hurt too much if I lose one. Now let's build some heavy cruisers. Got a choice of 3 hulls here. 40 resistance, 37 resistance, or 64 resistance. I think I'm going with the one that will not just explode when it gets shot at. And it also has the best hull form, so I can make it a bit faster without having to pay too much. These can actually be made quite fast. We're gonna stick with the semi-oil and diesel again, so yes, a mixture of oil and coal. So, not sure how they expect a diesel engine to run on that, but that's what they do. That's rolling coal. Let's pick the cheapest, smallest option again. Well, this is gonna be quite an ugly ship, because we got like a miniaturized version of the Japanese battleship. Secondary tower. Guess that kind of works. That does not fit. There we go. How affordable can we make this, and what kind of main guns can we put on this? Everything is Mark 5. So that's good. It's tempting to go with 9-inch guns. 280, 260, 240, 320. So ammunition goes down as you go up in size. That makes sense, I guess. But still, the double, that's 140, 130, 120. But the rate of fire goes up with the smaller ones, so they're gonna expend that ammunition they have quicker. That looks terrible with the 10-inch gun on that tiny barbette. I think we are actually going with the 9-inch turrets just because they look better or less bad on this hull. We're gonna go with quite a few of them. Forward offset is horrible, but hopefully that can be fixed by moving things around. It's still kind of bad. Anyway, let's build the rest of the ship. Don't need that much range, because again, we're just all gonna operate in close waters. Corrupt 5. Anti-flood 2 to save some weight and cost. Standard ratio, double capped. Heavy. Increased ammo. Are we gonna go triple base again? Let's find out. Let's find out what we're gonna roll with. So 12, 859, 188. Not that big of a difference. I think I'm gonna stick with the radar 2 though. Actually, no. I'm gonna go with radar 3. because the reconnaissance thing actually adds to your anti-submarine. Oh, radar 2 is better. ASW 865, 838. Okay. Now we are a little bit overweight. That's not good. Let's drop down the anti-torp. .39 caliber. They are not too long, are they? They're a lot shorter than I thought they were, weren't they? Oh no, it's the quads that are 51s. The 11s are 52s. That's much better range. Am I gonna go with 11s? It's kind of big for a heavy cruiser. If I go with doubles instead of triples, it's very like heavy firepower for a heavy cruiser, but that's not unheard of in this game. 386 tons or 570 tons. No, 486 tons, excuse me. So less than 100 tons difference going from a 999 to a double 11. But the double 11 has more armor that I can reduce. Let's give them the same armor and then take a look at what the difference is. $498, $492. So the difference is basically nothing, and this I would have to lengthen. This I can shorten. $51. Let's make it a 50. Oops. 50. And this one a 45. 580. 480. So now I save 100 tons. 31.5 kilometer range, 31.4 kilometer range. 20,000, we're looking at 0.5, 0.7, 0.7 and 1. So we are going with the 11s. Fewer barrels, but bigger ones. And we're just gonna have to deal with it looking kind of silly with such a big turret on that tiny built-in barbette. But that's just how it is. Do I have to make this bigger? 14,000. That makes it grow. That at least gives me room to move stuff further back. And it gives me some displacement left over for armor. 8.5 on the main belt. I do want to have some fore and aft belts on this. And not gonna worry about the inner. There we go. ASW is 802. That is not excellent, but at least it is something. I've got 250 tons to play with for secondaries. Now 500 tons almost. That still works. It's not excellent, but it works. And that's quite affordable, 207 million. What is the maintenance? 1.7 a month. Let's add some of these 5-inch turrets. Actually, never mind. Let's go for double ones instead. They fit there. And they fit there. I like secondary turrets that fit where you want to have them. That's the main reason in my Italian campaign why I went for the 4.2 and 4 point something inch guns, just because the Italian secondary turrets, once you went 5-inch and bigger, you had some pretty big turrets that were hard to fit physically on the ship. But the 4-inch turrets were kind of small and cute. So they fit in a number of different places. How about these 4-inch turrets? They're the same, they're just slightly smaller than the 5-inch turrets. 3-inch. Now you're looking at something that can be placed around in different places. There we go. 1399 out of 14,000. I think that's a good sign as any to save the design. Almost no weight offset either, so that's pretty good. At the end of the day, we're looking at 97.6 resistance. No added or subtracted beam and draft. If you add, you make your ship a little bit more survivable. If you subtract, you make it more vulnerable. So baseline is +2 gun damage, plus 1.1 gun damage. If I'd increased beam and draft, we'd be looking at minus something instead. But also a more expensive ship, so light cruiser. What do we have? Modern light cruiser 5, gun cruiser, compact light cruiser. Modern light has the best hull form. 40 resistance, 27, 53 on the gun cruiser, 20. That's paper. Might want to go with the gun cruiser. I think it can be made cheaper. 21 million for the modern light, 81 for the gun cruiser. Although, yeah, things are yeah, the base stats here are different. If I just make this 37 and 8,000 tons, put the range in the middle, we're looking at 60.9. $93.7. I think we're gonna go just modern light, even though it's kind of ugly. We can just make something nicer. But here we're kind of stuck with these ugly towers, though. What kind of towers do we have on the gun cruiser? Oh yeah, these are the huge towers. Yeah, this is one of those hulls that is almost impossible to build something on, because you end up spending almost all your displacement on towers. But we can try. Let's go 9,000 tons. 38 knot top speed. Let's keep the semi-oil. Oh, we're getting kind of expensive here. Yeah, we're already... yeah, these are just too heavy. So we're going back to the boring default hull. 8,000 tons. 38 knot top speed. Okay, diesel 1 is a bit heavier than the turbines. Diesel 2 is a bit lighter, 110. 88. I think we're still going diesel 1. Not a huge difference in displacement between these towers. %90 capacity from the super funnel. There we go. I think that works. It kind of works. Can I make it even a little bit faster, or is that gonna just make the ship super overweight? How about the 5,000 tons for 36? 600. 7.2. 7.8. Overweight. I think 37. Actually, if I now reduce the beam, which I said was a bad idea for the heavy cruiser, but this is light cruiser. It's nice to have your light cruisers be kind of fast, because they often have to hunt down enemy ships that are running. And it's one of their main tasks. Are we gonna go with 7-inch guns? I think we are. $39. 37. Is it possible, if I fit some kind of barbette here? Oh, it's got the antenna thing. Oh, it's too tall. Is there like some kind of barbette I can fit to have a triple? No, not even the tiniest one. Maybe. No, it doesn't even fit on that. Oh well. I could, of course, go for just not have it on that barbette at all, and go for this thing. Does the 7-inch turrets fit on that one? Yes. Oh, you don't like that? How about the slightly bigger one? No. I mean, if it's gonna be like that, I'm just gonna save the weight and go for the smallest one. How close can I... So, Bit of a forward offset. It's just so sad you can't put a barbette on top of another barbette to make it just slightly taller, because that would be really helpful right about now. We're gonna have one on the back, possibly with a torpedo launcher in the middle. Now, do we have enough displacement for this? I'm gonna reduce the range again. So I'm mostly gonna be patrolling close in waters. I might have to increase the displacement actually. I'm now looking at 100 million per ship. It's gonna be more than that once it's finished. But I still think it will be quite affordable compared to a lot of light cruisers I've seen. There we go. Far away to offset is not too bad. Krupp 5 again, saving some weight. Double hull, reinforced 1, probably enough. Citadel 3, probably enough. We're gonna go double capped, actually. So we can use the Capitalistic 2 AP shells to fight enemy cruisers. Increased ammo, because I don't want to run out too quickly. 16.9. Oxygen torpedoes. 22-inch, probably good enough. Coincidence, sonar 3, RDF, radar 2, no mines, but depth charges. What are we looking at for ASW? 3,500. We've got no armor. We've got some very heavily armored turrets though. Probably reduce that quite a bit. Oh, we're a little bit heavy, aren't we? So, gonna have to do the thing where we reduce the speed a little bit, reduce the range a little bit, reduce the draft a little bit. Suddenly the rear tower doesn't fit, so that creates issues. So I have to move everything just a little bit. That is the smallest rear tower, right? Yeah. No longer overweight. Great. A bit of a 4-weight offset, but that's okay. We can live with that. I would like those guns to be made a little bit longer though, so I got some more range. I don't need a lot of deck armor on the light cruiser, I don't think. Some more armor on the turret tops might not be a terrible idea. I do want some belt armor. I can't have a lot of belt armor. I'm just gonna take what I can have. 3.7. It's kind of bad. No weight left over for secondaries. Oh, that's right. Reduced my beam. That reduced my displacement. So I can increase that again. Semi-auto reloading, we're looking at 14.9 second reload. It's not too terrible. I can make them 45. Suddenly, I have some range. That is good. That's gonna make it much easier to chase down DDs and other ships that are running away. When I can actually open fire at them at 24 kilometers. Okay, 37 knots, 9,000 tons. We're sticking at 37 then. Secondaries. 3-inch guns. Just does not fit there. We can put some here. Put some here. Not quite put some there. 22 kilometer torpedo range with these. $128 tons. Can I fit underwater tubes on this? I can. Wonder if that might be a better idea. They're also way cheaper. Yeah, the arc of fire is gonna be much worse. But that does save me some weight. Makes my 4-weight offset even worse. I can kind of fix that. I can fix that. Yes, I think we are fixing this. I think we're fixing this 4-weight offset, guys. And also saving some weight. And also finding a place for that 3-inch turret there. And some here. That's not terrible. Yangjiang class light cruiser. It's kind of a strange little thing. Doesn't have a lot of armor. It's got quite a bit of firepower. A lot of forward-facing firepower. Well suited to chasing down DDs and other light cruisers. And the price tag, 140 million, is not too bad. It's quite affordable. Let's save that design. Now, the DDs. They're gonna also need to be affordable, of course. I don't think I'm gonna build the biggest ones. Advanced DD compact. I think we're building a compact DD here. That still fits. We're gonna make it quite compact, indeed. Hull form, not amazing. In fact, none of these have great hull forms. Well, the hybrid DD is not too bad. Let's stick with it. Range. Cramped quarters? Why not? Why not? Diesel 1 again. To save some cost. What's the difference here? 126. 100. Let's find out once I add the funnels and the other needed things. That's a 200-ton funnel. 45, 39. Am I just gonna go with a single funnel? I think I am. That doesn't leave me with a lot of displacement left for guns and torpedoes. Let's drop the beam all the way down. So this is going to be a very vulnerable ship. -9 beam, that is plus 20% gun damage. And plus 7.2% gun damage. So the resistance is actually not terrible. The 100, what's the base resistance on this hull? 79. 94 on the hybrid DD. Why are these so tanky? Why do they have better resistance than any of my light cruisers' hulls? That is weird. They're gonna need to have decent steering. We're at 154 million for a DD. I'm just gonna try and roll with it for now. Let's go with 38 knots instead. 134. $117. But that's very slow for a DD, so I don't quite like that. Let's add some main guns to this. 5-inch guns. Some daka, so they can gun down enemy DDs. And of course we need torpedoes. In the short Chinese campaign I did in 1.6 beta, we had great luck with torpedoes. Long range torpedo strikes kind of carried the early part of the campaign. Well, it was only the early part of the campaign. It never progressed beyond that point. No, this is too heavy. This has become too heavy. Let's take a look at the other DD hulls here. Which one did I build on for the previous campaign? I've completely forgotten. I think I built some really cheap ones. Like on this. Yeah, let's build the economy DD here. Let's build an absolute economy DD. Might have to go with actual oil fuel. Whoops. And these towers are all terrible. So we're just not gonna worry about the DD spotting anything for itself. Can I put a barbette here? Kind of can. Put that there. Then we can have guns on it instead of on the forecastle. 19, 15. But once I up the speed though, looking at 81. I'm not going to use these stupid funnels that take up the entire hull. I'm just going to use one of those. And that's just going to have to be enough. Secondary tower, tiny one. Can I like flip it around? No. Nope. Cannot be flipped. Reduce the bulkheads. Main guns. Oof. Well, that works, I suppose. And one back here. And torpedo launchers. Somehow it looks like things are working. Not valid. Empty barbette. That one? Happy now? Added a useless little 2-inch gun. Just to make the game happy. DDs are kind of tough to build. Never worry about the barbettes in this case. There we go. We are not overweight. We're gonna be. I'm gonna have to play around with things to make things work. 79 million though. 87 million now. Diesel 2. 115. 147. Yeah, no, I think we're sticking with oil 1. I'm just not caring too much about anything, really. So, guns. 10.9. Accuracy at 10,000 is 0.3, 0.4. If I give it light shells, 0.3, 0.3. It's still some kind of accuracy at least. Light shells and triple base, this did not work in 1.5. 0.4, 0.5. It does work now. 22-inch oxygen torps. TNT 4. We're gonna just go with standard shells. I think so. I think we are. Semi-ballistic. Penetration is not too great. Looking at armor quality. Yeah, I think that's decent. It's decent, like, bench line. Okay, but we need this stuff here. Like, no weight difference. So the reason I'm using RDF and radar on this is because that really adds to your, this is really adding weight. ASW 12,080. If I take off the RDF, 1037. and 326 without radar. And again, radar 2 gives me the much better ASW than radar 1. Which is weird, but okay. And RDF really adding to the ASW value here. Okay, so Minehunter kit needed. Depth charge needed. That's like one of the some of the most important jobs that these DDs are gonna do, is escorting my my battle fleets through minefields and submarine infested waters. Am I gonna have to slow them down? I don't really like that. Don't like that at all. But I guess I've got to. Why does it do that? $2296. It's not a big difference. It's a little bit of a difference. Yeah, let's keep auxiliary 1. Range is now utter trash. Oil 1 does not make... That's a 2-ton difference. No, we're keeping oil 1. Hang on. 81 million. 107 million. And it doesn't even add that much weight. So we might actually go semi-oil here with our diesel 2 engines. So yeah. You could also go gear turbines. That actually makes my ship more expensive. And I really do not want that. Anti-flood 1 works. Should I go with... I think I will. I think I will go double 5-inch gun instead of triples. That should save a little bit of weight. Yes, I know I've got a 4-weight offset. Hang on. What I can do... Move all of this further back. All of that stuff. If I now also move that further back, remove the 2-inch turret. There we go. The angles on the A turret, not great. In fact, if I go for the... it's slightly heavier. But it's still better than having the A turret up there. It still doesn't work. So let's go back to the slightly lighter one. In fact, if I can't have the A turret firing forwards, I can just have it down here. It gives me the same arc of fire, but on a much lighter barbette. Now the B turret can't fire forwards. What's up with that? What is up with that? There we go. Reducing the beam fixes the overweight issue. Why can it not fire? It looks like it should be able to fire forwards. I'm just gonna assume it still can, and if not, then it'll just have to fire off at a slight angle off the bow if I'm chasing something. Still though, that's 10 22-inch Occident torpedoes for a very, very, very affordable little DD. 74 million a pop. That is not much at all. In fact, can make it even cheaper. Do I want to give it some manner of survivability? Let's do that. Let's give it some amount of survivability, which also improves its pitch and roll. It's not adding too much weight and cost, so there we go. It should be able to handle itself in a gunfight with an enemy DD, which is all I really expect of it, other than just massive dumps of torpedoes into enemy battle fleets. 74 million. Not bad. Not bad. Of course, it's very fragile. It doesn't have that much firepower. It's not super fast. I think it'll work. It'll do the job it's gonna do. And the ASW thing especially turned out quite good. So should be able to sink some submarines. So let's build. How much money do we have? 8 billion and a monthly balance of plus 2 billion. But that's before adjusting any of this. So let's add to the transport capacity. Let's add some tech budget too. I think 75. And some crew training. Crew training isn't too expensive. Also, we need to increase our shipyard size. Not just to build bigger ships, but to have more shipbuilding capacity, because it increases that too. So 1.5 monthly balance, not too bad. In terms of research, come on game. There we go. We're getting, this is just an improvement, isn't it? Mine detonators, that's not too exciting. Big guns. That's probably gonna be Mark V 14-inch guns, if I remember correctly. Hull strengthening, we've got everything here. Advanced marine engines. I don't know where the gas turbines have gotten to. They're still available in the custom ship designer. So I don't know why they're not available here in the campaign, if that's a bug or intended. 600 million. Let's start by building 6 of them. That's less than half my money. But that's not too bad. Battle cruisers. I want 2 of those. 3.3 billion left. Heavy cruisers. Let's build 8. So I plan on having 2 task forces, 3 battleships each, 4 heavy cruisers each. Light cruisers, I think they're just gonna work independently. I got 1.6 left. I might even be able to build more. $800 million for 6 light cruisers. I think that'll work. $813 million left. We're gonna have at least 8 DDs. 223 million left. And still plus monthly balance. So I'm kind of tempted to... can't build. How long does it take it to build one of these? 21 months. So that's going to be, with the commissioning time, around 2 years. I could start building one on turn 1. But instead what I will do is I will build two more DDs, just to have some in reserve, I guess. Alright. Where do I want them? And the nice thing is that I start... Hang on, crew pool. I still got a decent crew pool. It's actually not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Just reading the forums. Yeah, we can work with this. Might just be China having a huge crew pool because, well, it's China. We got a massive population. Can even increase the tech budget some more. Still make some money. The nice thing about the Chinese 1940 campaign is that you start out at a war with Japan, so I don't have to wait a long time to get something happening. I think Haichao and Shanghai gonna be my two main fleets. I don't want to get bottled up in this bay here, which could easily happen. That is East Asia, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, oops, didn't intend to do that. Let's just do the battleships first. Haichao. And Shanghai. Battle cruisers I can place somewhere else. 4 heavy cruisers in Haichao. 4 in Shanghai. Light cruisers will also be independent. 4 DDs in Haichao. 4 in Shanghai. Last 2 DDs I can add to... Let's see, where do we want the other ships here? Hangzhou? That can be my reserve port. And I also want 2 light cruisers there. Now the other 4 light cruisers, let's see, Wei Hai Wei can have 2 there. One there, I mean, sorry. Tianjin, Jinshu, and Xiamen. Nicely spread around. I think Jiamen and Hangzhou for the 2 battle cruisers. There we go. Add crew. And that is that. We are ready for battle with the Japanese Navy. But that will happen in the next episode, because this has gone on for quite a while now with all the shipbuilding. We start out with 30 unrest and -1 naval prestige. So that will have to be improved. Otherwise, I'm going to get fired and lose the campaign. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow, maybe, for next episode, and battle with the Japanese Navy. What do they have, really? 4 battleships, 2 battle cruisers, 21 heavy cruisers, 28 lights, 25 DDs, and 21 submarines. Oh yeah, I didn't build any submarines. Do I have money for submarines? I'm just gonna build some mine layer subs. I think 43 million. For mine layer 4, or 17 million for... Yeah, I think mine layer 4 is a better deal than mine layer 5. We're gonna build some of these, yeah. I'll still have some money left over. That is not too bad. Let's see, Wei Hai Wei, Jiamen, and that is Tianjin. Gonna have 2 there. And 2 in, I don't know, Jinju, maybe. So, there we go. Submarines. I keep forgetting that's a thing, because I've gotten so used to playing with the Dreadnought Improvement Project mod, which removes submarines from the game, which I think is nice. But here we just have to deal with it. So, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, and take care.